Politicians are being forced to pay close attention to the nation. Rising insecurity and high cost of living. Come 2023, Nigerians are set to hit the polling unit as to decide who becomes the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Talking politics on today's segment, I am not alone, and joining me is Honorable Aminu Suleiman, a member representing the good people of Fagi Federal Constituency of Kano State and chairman of Committee on Tertiary Education. Welcome to the program, sir.
It's my pleasure meeting you. Thank you.
Before we move to the topic of the day, I am sure Nigerians will want to know, what is your ambition come 2023?
What ambition, I will not want to call it ambition because the primaries are concluded, and therefore whoever have ambitions must have set the foundation for such ambition. As it is now, I am set to ask for a first term from members of my constituents to continue to represent them in the Green Chamber. And that does not mean that that is the totality of my ambition. And therefore, the question should have been what one wished to aspire, and therefore I'm aspiring to return to the Green Chamber.
Okay. All right. We wish you good luck. Good luck on that, sir. So before, I just want to know, as an APC loyalist, looking at the presidential election around the corner, why do you think your candidate, who is Senator Ahmed Tinubu, is the best person Nigeria needs as it is at the moment?
Well, Nigeria and Nigerians have arrived at a very conclusive stage as to who will rule them in 2023. And all the indices are very clear. The indices have emerged. And if you ask me, there are only two candidates. And the candidates are Soji Bola Tinubu and the rest. If you asked me why, I will just invite you to the history of the other contestant and the incoming president, inshallah, that is Bola Tinubu. Fortunately, all of them have served before in various executive positions, and therefore it is easy for Nigerians to judge them on the basis of their previous performances. Two of them, Bola Tinubu and the person they call Obi, were both governors. One turned around his state that has not only become an envy of the whole country, but it became a pace setter to the extent that other governors have found refuge in Lagos other than their own state, including Pete Obi that is contesting against him. If Pete Obi is in Nigeria, he only goes to Accra, the capital of Anambra State, to do weekend. But his place of abode is Lagos. And the simple reason is that he has not been able to develop there to make him a home of his liking and relaxation like someone has developed Lagos. Atiku Abubakar is somebody that has been in, around, and out of power. And basic, simple necessity of life, he has not been able to deliver to his own people, to his own village. That is road. Somebody that occupied the position of Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for 8 years, left his state, his local government, and his village, Ganye and Motarabo. It was President Muhammad Buhari that came after he has spent 8 years and after another 6 years of his party's departure, that President Buhari constructed motorable road that not only leads to his own local government but to his village, Genyi. So for these two gentlemen who have had an opportunity before and who conspicuously not only misgoverned those states, but were unable to deliver any tangible thing that the people of those areas will be proud of, are trying to scaffold themselves to the position of #1 citizen so that they will repeat the same non-performances that they have in their state. That the Igbo will say to Piako, God forbid.
Okay, so while we're still on that, I feel like why Nigerians want a younger person to govern the country is because perhaps, or no, not perhaps, P2B is much younger than Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And now looking at it, what of the occurrence that happened on the 6th at the Shantom House in UK when your candidate was asked to answer the key policy questions. So he elected heads. Some Nigerians confirmed it that he is not physically and mentally stable to rule Nigeria. Do you assume that to be true?
That is not correct. The first question about age. The non-performance of Obi was at the age of 45 when he was governor. So if age is a factor, he will have turned Anambra State into an Eldorado. So it's not a factor at all. Because at 45, he can win 440 race. And if he's unable to govern a small state like Anambra, with the same people, same race, same faith, same ethnicity, same sentiment, everything same, and he is unable to deliver. Somebody who cannot even manage his own Christian faith to the extent that other Christian principles, other than Catholic, were not feeling safe under him. Is that the man that he will entrust Nigeria with 300 tribes, with more than 10 different faiths? No, we're not into Jombori. Talking about Jagawan, what Jagawan did was an excellent innovation that provoked anger and pity among opposition class in Nigeria, because he has shared before Nigerians category and volume of people he has developed in life, from nobody to somebody's. People that he has projected in life that have metamorphosis from an ordinary and inconsequential position to a position of repute. And people were doubting him. And that is what he set out to prove. That he doesn't occupy position and symbolize and characterize that position to himself only Bola Tinubu. What he did was to show people that he is not only a mentor, but he is somebody that will democratically govern. And for him to democratically govern, he must put people with enough knowledge and to test them in an international forum whether they will be able to deliver to his own guessing and satisfaction. That was what he did. And the people delivered to the satisfaction of everybody. And typical of Nigerians, because we don't want anything good to the turnaround to begin to criticize and classify that as inability on the person of Aswaju. Now, the same Nigerians will have begun to shout, if, as president, he appropriated every action to his table alone, then they will begin to shout, no, other functionaries are not being allowed to perform. What he is doing now is scout mastery, trying to see the people he will inject into his cabinet, whether they are capable or they are not capable for them to occupy the position. So leave that. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a junketing position of opposition because they have been provoked.
Okay, sir. Now, sir, let's talk Kano politics. Looking at the politics in Kano, which is your state, there is a lot of crisis, or we assume there are some crises going on in your party, and we are just curious, will APC retain governorship candidates in Kano State? And apart from that, do you think your candidates stand a chance of winning Kano State due to the presence of Kwankwasiya?
First, I needed to know what are those crises that you have alluded to, because I am not aware that APC Kano State chapter have any crisis. If there is, I am in a vintage position to know, and by my standing, I do not hide behind my one finger. So if there are crises, I will admit the crisis and situate it as it is. I am not aware that the APC in Kano is in crisis or is having any crisis. If you are aware, you let me know. The presence of Kwankwasiya, I don't know. I always point out to the people that Kwankwasiya was alive and active when we took away everything in 2019. Kwankwasiya does not have a local government chairman, a councillor. Kwankwasiya does not have member of the House of Representatives. Kwankwasiya does not have a senator. Kwankwasiya does not have a governor. Kwankwasiya did not win majority vote to his party in 2019 presidential election. Our candidate, President Muhammadu Buhari, won 1.2 million from Kano, while the PDP candidate that Kwankwasiya backed got a little below 300,000. They were unable to have any senator, member of the House of Representatives. Of course, they were able to make it to the State Assembly with about 8 members out of 44 members of Kano State House of Assembly. They were able to have only 8, and those 8 were areas that were characterized by internal wrongling. Otherwise, that too would have been 44/0. Just like we give them 24/0 in the House, 3/0 in the Senate, 2/0 in governor and deputy, almost 90% over 10 in the presidential election. So I do not know what has changed between 2019 to date that will make people to begin to project Kwankwasiya as a fundamental factor. Yes, he was an ex-governor of Kano State. Yes, he was an ex-senator of Kano State. Yes, he commands some level of loyalist. But even you, at your level, you are once a senator, a former governor, good or bad, there must be people who will still be queuing at your back politically. We cannot dismiss that. But I can tell you that while we are not underrating him, but we are not losing sleep over Kwankwasiya in Kano State.
Okay, sir.
And strike accordingly wherever and whenever it is necessary, irrespective of whatever would be the position. For about a year now, CBN has just confirmed to us that there is $0 remittance to CBN from NNPC. Because what we are generating from there is hardly enough to contribute to domestic spending. talk less of saving. And the consequences of this arises from the phenomenon of oil theft. So my answer to the question is that government, at whatever level responsible for security and the rest, should call the bluff of whoever want to deploy any sentiment and deal with the issues as they surfaces.
Okay, before we come to the end of the program, let's look into the new cash withdrawal policy of the CBN. How do you think this can affect the average Nigerian?
My opposition to this heartless position was not hidden. I have spoken on the floor of the House. I will speak tomorrow if the governor comes. And in advance, he can never convince me of whatever he's coming to say. It's ill-timed, it's wicked, it's incalculative, it's against all rational economic indices as it relates to the current situation of Nigeria and Nigerians. What is good for A may not necessarily be good for B. And my concern and worry is that himself and the president perhaps believe that they own Nigeria and it is a PLC. Even when duly representative of the Nigerian people took a position of no, he rushed to Daura and received a backing. And he came out arrogantly to tell us that the president have told him not to bother about anybody. I will ask him tomorrow whether truly the president has said that. Whether the president have told him not to bother, not to worry with anybody, and he should discontinue any position. My inner self is telling me the president wouldn't have used those words.
Okay, so let's look at it from this angle. According to him, he said that will be used, or in that way, the cash flow would be monitored. Do you think there is any sense, or do we assume this to be true? Because he feels like the income or the inflow of cash from some people, or rather some politicians, are not being monitored, and he assumed is the best way to monitor it. Does that really?
No, I cannot even rationalize this irrational thinking for me, because if you want to monitor, there will be the same people to help those whom they want to monitor. There will be the same people who will tell the bank and arrange with the bank to give those people protective services. They will. The person who will suffer is the person who sell akara in my locality, the person who sells slippers, who sell mango, who sell tomato, who sell onion, oranges. Those are the people that will suffer most. Those are the people that deal with cash on everyday basis, buying and selling. They will want to go to a market we call Yankaba to buy fruits. Now they will have to go to the bank and cash 50,000 or 100,000 in a week to go and do the purchase. Then if you want to enter Keke Napep, you will have to do POS or to transfer the money to the person. Where is the infrastructure in Nigeria? Look, of the 200 million Nigerians now, according to the CBN themselves, not up to 40% are on banking platform. Now, even with the 40% that are currently on banking platform, the infrastructure is already overwhelmed. You made a transfer, it takes 2-3 hours to effect. So if you go, you want to buy from somebody, he has to give you a chair to sit down until the transfer get effected. Or how would you do? If you want to go to the pharmacy to buy drugs, they don't want to cash. You do a transfer. If it fails, how? Now with the 40, we are now having elective services on the platform of the bank. Now by the time you climb 200 million on that infrastructure, it is just like you have a car that carry passengers and you put 10 people in the vehicle because there are enough seats. With the 10 people, the car cannot move more than 50-60 kilometers per hour. You say everybody must enter the water. You don't want anybody to drink. Then you are forcing everybody inside the vehicle because our luggages are there. Well, because of weight, the engine cannot carry 10 people. You are putting 100 people in the vehicle. What sense they're talking about? Are they not thinking of all of this? If they want to monitor any person, they say, is he not a politician himself? Have he not attempted with government money to run for the presidency and Nigeria's cry before he disappeared? So what are they talking? What are they saying? It is easy, it is palatable to accuse politicians and to abuse, because this is what Nigerians want to hear. And the real thieves, vagabonds, are hiding elsewhere outside the parade eyes of Nigerians. I wish Nigerians the best, if that is their wish. But I am not sure that in the next 5 years will be ripe for Emepele Buhari's formula. This I'm not sure.
All right, thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here. And at this point, we come to the end of the program. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course on YouTube. Also turn on your notification button to get updates from Prime Reporters TV. Thank you very much and stay safe. I remain Messi Emelite.